My body does not exist for your entertainment. I have a brain, I have a heart. I have morals, I have values. 97% of women experience sexual harassment at some point in their lives. Because it is expected, we are taught to be ready and prepared at all times. This is the life in a woman's body.
We're not asking for it.
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 Right. What it is like to be a woman. I wrote a list because there's a lot.
This could be a trigger warning to anyone out there who's experienced something like this. Just full transparency, trigger warning.
I always check under and behind my car when I'm entering it.
Keeping your location shared with friends on a night out.
Taking a picture of the taxi or Uber you're in and sending it to a loved one in case something were to happen.
Always have your keys in your hand when you're walking alone.
My experience in a woman's body has been one of a lot of different kinds of fear.
Always leave the door open when going to visit a TA or professor.
Binge watching self-defense videos on YouTube just in case one day I do get attacked or kidnapped.
And walking home at night, I would usually be alone, and it was almost a subconscious decision to walk with my keys in my hands.
Keeping headphones on when you're alone to not encourage strangers to talk to you.
A lot of it is very small stuff that we don't realize we do.
I used to move my car on my brake because I didn't feel comfortable crossing the parking lot.
It's having to carry dog spray while I'm walking home from work and keeping my boyfriend on the phone until I get inside my car.
When you're driving, always make sure to check your back mirror to see if someone's following behind you in another car.
Because the risk of being assaulted and being attacked as a woman is so high, it's become normalized in our society. It's just a part of our identity that we should never be alone past a certain time at night, that we have to wear certain types of clothes in order to cater to whoever we're seeing that day.
Does your boyfriend really let you leave the house wearing that? You should be careful.
You're dressed like that and you're not even gonna let me touch you?
This is the type of things that women face every single day.
I remember once my manager confronted me about it, and I told him that unless I have another person here with me, or unless there is a man willing to close the store with me, I will continue to move my car closer to the front door if I have to walk to my car at night. And he sat there and he looked at me and he said, okay, I understand.
So I never sit in the passenger seat of taxis because the first time I had to take a taxi by myself, I was 12, and the older man told me that I could sit up front. I was really excited because I didn't get to do that very often. And then the whole ride, he proceeded to keep trying to touch my thigh.
I was at a bar with my sister one time and I stood up to go get another drink, and this older guy was like, oh, she has a nice ass, literally in front of the whole restaurant. It was so embarrassing and I was so uncomfortable for the rest of the night. We actually ended up leaving because I couldn't do it. Like, I was just so uncomfortable and I couldn't even enjoy myself.
He began texting me and messaging me. And then all of a sudden the tone just changed and he began confessing his love for me.
And I remember people saying that what you wear invites people.
And being in a woman's body, you have to live with that.
No, not being a good enough answer.
For this one day, I remember this man was right behind me walking, and he was walking like uncomfortably close to me for a long time. I was getting so anxious and so uncomfortable.
Just turning around and walking backwards sometimes when I'm out, just to make sure there's nobody following me.
Making a phone call when you're alone with a male Uber driver.
Always check the back seat of your car before you get in.
Checking underneath your car before you get close, because there might be somebody underneath waiting for you.
I literally walk around my car just to see if like anything like suspicious or going around or something. I always double check when I lock it. I pull the doors.
That he put his hand on my shoulder. So I like jumped and turned around, and he looked me dead in my eyes and was like, "Did I scare you?" And I just like sped off away.
And I was like, oh, like, thank you, but I have a boyfriend and I've had a boyfriend for a while. And he became very angry about that and made sure I knew about that, about how angry that made him.
If another student who happened to be a male was also walking home to his student house, if they were behind me, I had this fear that they would be following me. So I would usually take a longer and different route home every time so I wasn't followed home.
You are constantly mentally preparing yourself in case something happens.
You know, it's the fear that tells you to walk a little bit faster and avoid dark streets.
Calling a friend, texting a friend, letting them know your location at all times, just in case anything happens.
Constantly being afraid to go anywhere on my own.
If you're driving late at night and a cop tries to pull you over, call dispatch first to make sure that it's real.
Being a woman means that this is the most recent gift I got from my mom.
If I'm going to be coming home late from the library, campus, or friends, that I should always be on the phone, or even better, I should Uber or cab.
For me, it was an investment in my safety, and it didn't matter to me how much I did spend on Uber, but the fact that I did get home safe.
And then he began to threaten me. He threatened my life. He threatened my boyfriend's life. He threatened my friend's life. He knew where I lived and was going to come after me.
Making sure your friends text you when they're walking home alone that they got home safe.
What are you doing walking all alone? You should come in the car with me. I know where we can go.
A guy pulled me into his car after I went to a house party by myself and drank too much, and he decided he was going to take me home, and I had to jump out of the car and hide in someone's backyard in a bush to get away from him.
I was genuinely scared, and the text would not stop. I was getting about 100 texts per minute from this person.
When a guy asks you out, you say that you have a boyfriend because they respect a man that they've never met or even seen before they respect you saying no.
Never leave an alcoholic drink unsupervised.
Being told that I'm dramatic or that I'm way too nice and it's my own fault.
You blame yourself when it will always be the other person's fault.
A guy kept dancing on me and touching me, and I repeatedly asked him to stop. But once he did not, I ended up getting him kicked out of the bar, and he responded by saying, "You're just a stupid bitch anyway. I only wanted your body. Fuck you. Who cares?"
And it was just anger, threats.
They pulled over and they said something along the lines of, "Hey baby, you look lonely. Why don't you come in and we'll go for a ride?"
But it's something that has stuck with me for so long now, because it was so uncomfortable that now I'm more aware of my surroundings at night and just in general when I'm walking alone.
From being in my 3rd year of university at a bar, leaning over to grab a drink I ordered and have a male slap my ass, turning around, confronting him while his friends laugh.
I'll never forget the moment when I realized that rape exists.
He started to grab me in areas that were really inappropriate, and he was grabbing to the point where it started to hurt.
So I go home and we go through all of the messages and we immediately call the police.
Being choked at a bar because I refused to dance with somebody.
And then I sat there wondering, why does this happen to good people? Why does this happen at all?
It's one of those things where it's not our fault.
I was just dancing with my friends, and a guy had walked up behind me and put his hand under my skirt. And that was not the first time.
And I had to get a security escort to escort me from my car in the morning, escort me to every single class.
Being backed into a corner and feeling powerless.
So I had to push him off of me. I had to turn around and push him off of me. And I looked to the side of the dance floor and his friends were there watching him do that. A friend recalled to me what happened. And she's like, you understand that that was harassment, right? That was assault. And a lot of girls don't realize that they are a part of that whopping 97%.
That was probably the first time that it really hit me that this exists and that it could happen to anyone, even yourself.
But it was a very, very scary experience, and these are the things that we got to deal with as women, truly.
So, yeah, that's what it's like to be a woman.
Just educate your sons.